Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Again, I was scrolling through the comment section. I think some people like when I tell you life experiences or experiences that I have had trading or investing. I've done a lot of different things through my, I don't know, it's not a career. It's more of just me investing money. And I've had mess ups. I've had really big gains. Well, I thought they were big gains back in the day. And I can give you some examples of some things that I have done, trading and whatnot. If you guys want to hear all, some of the stories. Some of them are, I never really lost a ton of money, and I never really set stop losses either. So I always had some sort of basic understanding of how to read charts, but I never had a massive loss. I never, used a whole bunch of margin or leverage. I did zero options when I was young. I knew I wasn't that good. Now I'm using, I use options every once in a while, and I actually have two options on right now, which is pretty rare. I don't usually do options hardly at all. But when the time comes and the setup exists, that's when I go for it, and that's just what you do after you've accumulated enough wealth and enough investments. You can start to take a little bit of your money, and it's not a very big position that I have, and then I try to swing for the fences. So one of the comments, questions, however you want to say it here is, could you do some videos, content, on how to keep focus and how to not get distracted in these times of a general mindset of fast, uh, I'm thinking the mindset of making money fast, a lot, and right now. So how do I stay focused on kind of the big picture view? Well, one thing is the better. Let me back up. I'll try to explain this as best I can. The better you get at chart reading, the better you get at ratio analysis, the better you get at these things. What you're gonna basically come to a realization is, you have to be ultra patient. It's it's like the biggest thing that you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to control absolutely everything. And then you have to time, if you're gonna do an option, you have to time your purchase very well. And I don't do options very often. It's very hard to do it. You're going to have to be extremely disciplined, and you're going to have to find a really good setup, and it comes ultra rare. I did the only time I've done options, because I know a lot of people, they want to put a whole bunch of leverage. They want to get a lot of money. They want to get it all right now. What happens is you get into a gambling mindset, and the gambling mindset, you're just going to lose a bunch of money. So the way that I've always viewed it is you lose the first dollar or $10 or $100, and then you lose the next 100,000 fighting back to get that $10 loss, back to even. That's kind of how I have viewed gambling, and I don't gamble at all. I don't gamble. So what I do is I take, basically, if there's good positions that you can buy, if the timing is exactly right and everything looks really good, that's the only time I will put an option on. The only time. I put on multiple options in multiple areas that are few and far between. I put some options in, are on in September, October, November timeframe in oil. Now, I didn't put it. I should have put a lot in SM Energy. I did not. I didn't put any on there, but shortly thereafter, I did put some on in SM Energy, but it was at a higher price. I did not take full advantage of that opportunity, and I wasn't even thinking about the options at that time. I just saw it was low, a perfect scenario, and I loaded up with regular shares, and I still own all those shares. I haven't sold a single share. But there was some times where I saw nice setups in like Centennial Resource Development that I did some options there, and I made a good amount of money going up. Now, would I go pile in right now? Probably not. I probably wouldn't do it. There are some other ones that I'd like right now. I can maybe, yeah, maybe I'll share that. I just put them on with the. I'm very conservative with that because I don't want people to get in over their head. And I think if I were to start talking about options, that you're really going to lose focus because you can lose a lot of money very fast, and it's very It's meant for people who know what they're doing, and the likelihood is that you're going to lose. That's the honest answer. And even if you were to take training classes in how to read charts, what you're going to do is you're going to go against people who are as good as me or better, and you're gonna go against those people, and most of the time you're going to lose money. And usually the person who writes the option is the person making the money, so that's the person you want to be, not necessarily the person taking the call option or whatever option there is, and doing that. But going back to the original question on focus, how do I stay? How do I keep focus? And in all honesty, I don't know. It just comes super easy. I just once you realize the value and you look at things from, maybe it's a different perspective. Maybe that's where I'm a little bit different. And I'll talk about that here. What people do, when I was a new investor, and what I think most people do, because you might be a little bit different than me. When I look at things, I think the new investor sees the loss. They see the loss in the account and they can't handle the volatility and the loss in there. What I look at is the opportunity. I don't focus on the loss or the near-term movements. I look past that and I look at the opportunity that's out there. And the way that I view everything is from a position standpoint. So I'm gonna give you an example. It's with the house that I purchased some years ago. It was 5-6 years ago, whenever it was. I didn't really look at the real estate market as much back then. Back in 2016, 15, in that general vicinity, I wasn't huge into the real estate market, and I didn't put this thesis together that I had. So I was looking at things from a how can I make more money standpoint. How can I save money? Why would I put a down payment down on a house? And all that stuff. And that was completely the wrong viewpoint. Looking back, I would have been far better taking more of my money, buying a house, locking in my cost at a very low cost, and buying way more house for my money that I could, buying earlier, say 2012, and locking in, not just locking in, just getting a small loan, getting a bigger house with a bigger loan, refinancing later so you have very low payments that you've locked in, and buying at the bottom of what would be the most affordable time in American history to buy a house. So my focus should have been on valuing assets the entire time. Because what I would have done is I would have probably purchased multiple homes at the bottom of 2012 and been holding on still. And what you want to do is you want to focus on what are the best ways to position yourself in life, just flat out in life. And then how are you going to get there? The one way to do it is you've got multiple ways. How do you maximize your revenue to put into investments? Well, one of the things is to minimize your costs, to minimize your liabilities and costs. And then the other thing is to maximize your revenue. And you can do both at the same time. You can drop your costs down while increasing revenue. And then you can invest that difference. So when I think of focus, I think of a goal, maybe not necessarily a goal, a lifestyle change, maybe. I'm very into, being healthy. I don't want to be overweight. I don't eat bad food. Well, for the most part, I don't. So every once in a while, I'll eat some fast food like Chick-fil-A or something like that, or Chipotle or something. But that's basically the only two spots I go to. But I don't eat like, garbage food. It won't go in my body for that, any large amount. I usually eat, very well. And it's just a lifestyle. You change your lifestyle, and your focus becomes how to build wealth, how to eat and be healthy. And everything kind of falls in place after that, because whatever you focus on is what you notice. So if you're looking at, I don't know, red cars, all of a sudden all these red cars pop out of nowhere, if you put your focus on something else, like if you put your focus on your career, you can push your career forward. And what I did is I said, okay, maybe I'm focusing on the wrong things. Maybe I'm focusing on the wrong things. Health is obviously the number one thing. You can never be wealthy without being healthy. So no wealth without health, in my opinion. And when you start focusing on things, maybe it's your portfolio, maybe it's how to become a better investor, Over time, if you're getting the right help, if you're seeking the right information, you'll get better at doing that thing that you want to focus on. You will not get better on things that you don't focus on. And I don't focus on making money fast. I focus on positioning. It's based all off positioning. Positioning and position sizing. Position sizing manages your risk. Positioning in sectors and companies at the right times is where you should be focusing your efforts on. It shouldn't be looking at, let's say you bought platinum at $1,200 and it's down, and you're saying, "Oh no, I'm down," and then you focus on the loss. I'm not focusing on the loss. I'm focusing on how can I add more platinum to my stack. Period. It's not. It's. I'm looking for opportunities. I'm looking for the positive things. I know that some of these picks may not pan out, but that's why I set up a strategy of position sizing at certain sizes. And if something doesn't work out, say you bought some Russian stocks and maybe they'll come back, maybe they won't. I was caught in it just like everyone else. And you know what? I didn't sell anything. I didn't panic. What I did is I said, okay, I knew this was going to happen. It was an expectation. So your focus, and I'm gonna kind of go sidetrack here, guys. This is going to get a little bit of kind of career oriented things. I've got some friends. Obviously, most people have friends, but I've got some friends, and the question I ask them when they're evaluating a new job, someone says, "Should I take this job?" I say, "Well, does it fit within your life goals? Does it fit where you want to go? If you're aiming in this direction and this job takes you in that direction, don't take it. Take a job that takes you in this direction." And that deals with focus. It deals with focus. It deals with what you're looking for. And a lot of people, what they do is they take the job that isn't where they want to go, or they're just aimlessly taking things. And they look at it, looking back, and they say, well, I should have never taken that position. It didn't get me where I wanted to go. And I'm like, that's exactly what I asked you. And sometimes it pans out really poorly. You shouldn't take something to prove something to someone else. You should take something because it's something that you do naturally. It's almost like you're just striding in the right direction. And then you just keep pummeling down that direction because you like doing it. And it should be self-feeding. Now, I know obviously that you're probably talking about how do you keep focus and not get distracted in the times of the general mindset of making a lot of money right now. I never had that mindset though. Or maybe I beat it out of me. So here, I'll put it this way. I want to, here's one of my goals is I want to never work for someone else again, period. I don't want to work for someone else. Okay. So then the next question should be, well, how are you going to get there? How are you going to get there? Now, the goal shouldn't be necessarily to do it as fast as possible, because then you're going to start making mistakes. But I want to be able to set my life up where I'm not constrained to anyone else's time, that which is very valuable to me. Time is valuable. I want to do something that I really like doing. I want to be able to do this anywhere in the world. I want to be able to take vacation or not take vacation. Don't care about sick days. I don't care about any of that stuff. It all goes away, right? That right there is kind of a life goal for me. And that's why I started the YouTube channel back in 2020. I had a vision, I had a goal, and I had focus. Now, through my investments, I'm also setting up a gigantic, we'll call it investment portfolio, a gigantic buffer if something happens, so to speak. It's much easier to pursue what you want to pursue if you have a gigantic sum of money that's backing you. So if something goes wrong, you have a big cushion, a massive cushion, so big that you don't even think about it. That's another thing that I'm also building. I'm building that gigantic cushion. Because that's just how it makes me feel better. I can sleep at night. I don't worry about things, and that could be, amassing a certain amount of precious metals that makes you feel better, amassing a certain portfolio, having a combination of both of those things. It depends on the person. It's very dependent on the person and how much risk they're willing to take. And I can't take that many risks. Too many people rely on me. So I'm trying to set it up where I can do it. and where I have enough cushion in the bank and in the investments and in the precious metals. And it might be a very high number for me. It might be a very high number. And I think I'm getting there. I'm getting closer and closer as this commodity bull market moves on. But focus, I mean, also comes with discipline. And discipline is nothing more than doing something. You know, it's almost like conditioning your body to become a lifestyle change. And it's so here. I'm trying to tie what exactly I think most people do to maybe what I do. I focus on the big picture. I focus on my goal that I just described there of working for myself, not having to work for someone else. And in order for me to get there, I'm going to have to ride through volatility. That is just part of the game. If I want to play this game, volatility is part of this game. And another thing that I've learned is I can't listen to other people. You have to do it yourself. You have to have the courage, the conviction. You have to have the tools. You have to have mentorship. You have to have, training. I didn't get the mentorship and training to speed my process up. I did everything kind of myself. So if you want to get training or mentorship, and I'm not trying to sell my website here, guys, like it will help you. It literally will. Going to those meetings with the platinum membership, going to the Zoom meetings, asking questions, getting feedback, and then repeating over and over. And you have to literally just do this like it's something that you really want to learn and really want to do. And if that fits where you want to go in life, that's where I would do it. I've always thought about investments, always, just naturally. And I want to get to where I want to go. In order for me to get there, I have to ride through this stuff. I know that. I have to change the way that I think, the way that I feel, the way that my emotions are to what the market will reward. Period. I can't force the market to do something that it's not. I can only do what I can control. And what I can control, position size, when I buy. That is what I control. That is in my control. I can't control if news comes out and my stock goes down for that particular day. What I can control is the emotional response to that stock going down. I can control and focus on what I want out of my life, out of what my life goals are, on what I want out of life, and what my aspirations are, and what I want to drive to. So, for me, my motivation to keep focus is my lifelong goals. I want to be able to do this and help you guys on a consistent basis, be compensated for it, and be able to do it, anywhere in the world. And that's what this technology has allowed us to do. And I'm reaching far more people than I would without it. And you guys, and hopefully what you're getting out of this is an education of how to become a better, financial investor, and learning everything that, I learned throughout my years. Maybe not everything, because there's a lot of stuff I know. There's a lot of stuff in the back of this old noggin that's probably got cobwebs on it that we got to dust off. And, you don't have to take all this risk either. You don't have to. The beauty of this is like, it's the setup, it's the strategy. That's where all the beauty is, guys. The beauty should be, it's about strategy, not being tactical. When prices move up and down, that's a tactical response. I need to sell now, it's going down. Oh, I need to buy this, it's going up. That's all, sea monkey do. I see this thing go up, I'm going to do it. What I do is mine's all strategy. It's like buy things that are down, look for patterns or certain patterns, and then these patterns repeat over and over. It's not like, out of the blue. And if you get with people who've done a lot of technical analysis, you could like show them a chart and they're going to know what they're looking at. They're going to be like, oh my God, this thing looks beautiful. We should be going into this. And I mean, that's really what it is. So you nail down a strategy of position sizing, of buying certain companies, and then deploying that strategy over and over. And it doesn't matter the amount of money that you have. It doesn't matter any of that. It's basically just replicating it over and over. And once you find that special recipe, you just use it over and over again. And everyone's going to tell you this, that's successful. You just have to figure out what the recipe is. And For me, maybe it's a little bit different. Everyone's going to have a little bit, a proclivity towards some sort of sector. They're going to like one sector more than other. Mine is oil and gas. I like oil and gas. I like uranium. Energy for me is where I really like. There's some other sectors that I will dabble in, and I do go in it. I think that rare earth metals, some of these metal companies. I like physical precious metals as well. I like the physical stuff, man. I like. So I kind of almost feel scared not having it, and I feel like I'm protected with it. Maybe it's just a psychological thing. I don't know what it is. And I bought a whole bunch of silver up to a certain point, and then I was like, okay, I'm good. Like it was just like a button turned off. It was like, okay, I feel like that's enough. And I don't know what it was. I just hit a certain psychological number, and if deals still came up, I still would buy it. But there was a certain number, and that number is different for every person. It's like signing your name and the size of your name being different for every person. It's an extension of their personality. So what I did is in order for me to stay focused on everything, guys, I created a lifelong goal of what I wanted in life. And in order for me to get there, I developed a strategy to get there, which involves investing, which involves opening up a YouTube channel, opening up a website, and doing all that stuff. One, to provide value to all of you guys, and two, it helps me get to where I want to go. I mean, that's ultimately the ultimate truth there. And go ahead and ask questions. Ask questions in the comment section. Sign up to the website. Ask questions there. I will more than likely be more than willing to answer all of your guys' questions. I'm here, and I started the channel not necessarily for myself, but it's for you guys. I had a ton of questions. Here's something. All right, here's something. You know how I lost money? I listened to other people. That's how I lost money. I listened to other people. And you know when I stopped losing money? When I stopped listening to other people. When I stopped listening to the predictions of people on all of these websites. I've got people on Twitter telling me that there's going to be a housing market crash. And I just say, how do you know? Where's the data? Oh, well, when interest rates get to 7%, it's going to crash. I'm like, okay, but what if inventory doesn't go down? How do you know that? Like, where's this like all-knowing being knowing that 7% is this like magical number? I'm going to say that I don't know, and all I do is I look at trends, follow the trends, and then I look at the inventories. That's your keys. And I had to come up with all this because I didn't listen to anyone else. I just stopped listening to other people. And what I did is I learned bits and pieces from a large amount of people and pieced it all together. And I used a lot of charting. So it's a lot of bits and pieces. So that's how I did it. That's how I became a lot more successful, not just a little bit. This isn't a linear progress. This is exponential. And what that means is you'll go from making very little money to making like copious amounts in a pretty short time frame. The better you get. You don't need options. What you need is the ability to value assets. That is it. You really need that. And then if you get someone who can do some technical analysis, or if you can learn it yourself, and you can start validating what your fundamental valuations are, and then you look ahead. It's about looking ahead and saying, look, this is what's coming. And you get that right, the trend's in place. You just sit in it. And that's it. That's a strategy. So I'll end it there, guys. Hopefully this helps you, gets you a little bit more information. I like questions like these. I like answering them. But give me a thumbs up if you like the content. If you want to subscribe to the channel, definitely subscribe if you like this. My website's below. If you want to sign up, a platinum membership is the membership I would sign up. I think even if you were to get it for like 6 months, you'd probably really accelerate your learning curve by attending the Zoom meetings, by looking at some of the articles that I write, looking at some of the technical analysis. And what that does is just by looking at it all the time, it's going to be like, well, this guy always buys when patterns look like this, and then you can just replicate it. And another thing that I want to talk about is I'm not buying necessarily just the pattern. I'm buying more than the pattern. I'm buying the fundamentals, which the pattern creates, because the technicals are the fundamentals. But I'm looking at things deeper than just the pattern. I'm looking at why the people are buying it behind the pattern. Why are they transferring their money? What are the market conditions? And are those market conditions ripe right now? Which they are for a commodity bull market. I'm looking at the ratios to ensure that we have good value. And then I put the icing on the cake all slapped on there with technical analysis. So hopefully this gets you a little bit more focused than some of some of the other younger investors. I know it's a lot to chew on there. Basically talking about life goals and how you want to get there. But yeah, that's what I've got. And you know what? I'll see you next time, guys. This is Finding Value.